Hi guys. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you for giving me subjects you would like me to focus on because I kind of lost a sense of my direction in terms of creating content for you guys. This video will be about it's okay not to be okay, quote unquote, within the Black community. All right, let's get into it. So I have two halves of this. There is the truth and the heavier stuff. I want to say negative, but I don't want to say negative. And then there's some more up and up part of it, right? Okay, so if we're going to talk about mental health within the Black community, we have to first discuss slave mentality. The fact that a lot of our ancestors, grandparents that are currently alive now are just a couple generations out of slavery. And so slave mentality pretty much involves survival, you know. They were used to being abused, children were meant to be seen, not heard. You did what you had to do. No one really cared about your problems because you had a family to provide for. So there really wasn't too much time to be having breakdowns and sorting through interpersonal struggles. Hey, Grandma. Yes. And Miss Kitty. It is okay. Shout out to Grandma because having these discussions with her is what provided so much content for this video. So yes, you have that slave mentality that we as millennials were kind of exposed to, but no way as much as prior generations. So there's a needing to accept abuse because they had to keep moving forward. And so they were abused by their masters as well as within the household. Back in the day, men beat women a lot, or did whatever they wanted to do and came home and, neglected the family. So that's a huge thing. That was a reality. And when it's a reality, it's a norm, right? So who are you to complain about this when that's just how it goes? That's how. Okay, so moving on to a lack of trust. When I was in college taking women's studies classes, I learned about all of these experiments that were done on African American bodies in the beginning of the healthcare system developing. They experimented on us. And so there's a natural lack of trust between African Americans and clinicians in general, not just therapists, but clinicians in general. A lot of times Black people are afraid of some type of doctor, whether it be the dentist, a physical physician, and we wait until the last minute to go to the doctor, especially earlier generations. I think millennials are a little bit better about that, but that's also something that has to be considered. Is I can't say that I'm not okay because I don't trust these people to fix me, and so we internalize a lot of mental illness and accept it within our communities until it's just too much, it's too extreme, and oftentimes people are on the brink of death by the time it's taken seriously. Thirdly, and this is my favorite bullet because it's so real, the denial of truth. So if my cousin Jessica says, hey, I'm struggling with anxiety and it's affecting my life in this way, and it began at this point when I was exposed to these things, and I acknowledge, okay, you might really have anxiety, that might really be an issue that you need to work through. If I myself struggle with anxiety or another form of mental illness, subconsciously as well as consciously, that will begin to I don't know what this means, but it's like you will begin to process that, and your truth in regards to that will come out. Because what is truth but the light, right? And if I let her truth come to the light and I don't push it down, then my truth will come up. And no one wants that because there's so much shame and stigma attached to not being okay. What do you mean you're going to a therapist, girl? Just do what you got to do. Keep going, So that's another reason why we lack support when we mention therapy within our family. On and up and up. Glad we done with that part. Millennials, I feel like we are all about living a balanced life. We do not do things we don't believe in, and when we do, it's only at a temporary basis. We want to be entrepreneurs. We want to own our time, and we want to create positive change for the most part. So I believe that we definitely are coming around to this idea of it's okay not to be okay. We're speaking up about these things. Young African American women, which is what I am, so I'm guessing I have these conversations with them the most, are becoming so much more open to these ideas of getting help, seeking therapy, and working through their ish. A public figure or two that inspire me would be Myleik. She's the owner of Curlbox. Her podcasts are Myleik Taught You or My Taught You. Love them. Kiki Palmer. She's a singer, actress, dancer, aka millennial diva. Her book, I Don't Belong to You, yes, speaks about, you know, her journey through therapy and self-development and all that other stuff. So we are doing it and we are having these conversations about getting help. I am definitely a promoter and advocate for it. The cat is in here. That is what you're hearing. She does not care about me recording videos. Okay. Dang! I was on a roll. I'm trying to make this like a 7-minute video and it's not happening. Okay, and finally, I believe that with all of the current events that are happening, people being murdered, substance abuse being such a huge epidemic right now, illness, like physical illness within our families, from diabetes to the cancers, that there is a shift happening. There is an openness to having these conversations on what needs to change for the betterment of this family. I believe it began with a little bit prior to millennials, maybe even our parents, and it is becoming more and more of a thing. Part of it is the healthcare system is definitely focusing on substance abuse right now. And with that, we're coming into a lot of dual diagnosis, and we're understanding that people are self-medicating their mental health illnesses with substances. And so with people getting resources because their addictions have gotten so bad, their awareness on other issues they're struggling with are becoming profound. And so they want to work at these things to live a clean and sober life. And we have support groups that incorporates the family, educates the family. So while this may not be as common in the African American community as it is in the white community, naturally things pour over. And I see it happening gradually, especially as millennials are becoming empowered and having these conversations. And hopefully I will be an advocate, and this is like a breakthrough, like a turn of events for the upcoming generation. Millennials and millennial children will not have the same struggles, and will definitely start to implement changes for the youth. It's been happening, but it takes like 10 to 20 years for true change to truly occur. So that's what I have on It's Okay Not to Be Okay in regards to the Black community. I believe I have another video about it in general, about for the individual, for you feeling like it's okay not to be okay. So check that out. If this didn't really fit your needs, if it wasn't what you thought it would be, that might be what you're looking for more so. I hope this was helpful. I never really know these days. Once I get more of a following and feedback, I have a greater gauge. Please comment. I want this to be a very, very, very engaged community. So please comment. Please let me know what you think. At any rate, always be encouraged, regardless of what community you're from. It's okay not to be. You have to do what's best for you. And if that's therapy, if that's self-help, if that's support groups, if that's figuring out what's holistically well for you through coaching, do it, regardless of what anyone else says. Okay? Love you guys. Bye.